Hey guys, welcome to another video. Thanks for joining me in this one. In this particular video, I'll be talking about the loan schemes or loan providers that you can always use to secure some funds for your flight training. The reason why I'm covering this subject is because I've actually had a few subscribers of mine that have asked, how you can secure loans for your training or how you can actually just get alternative means of funding your flight training. And I'll be covering some of that in this video. Now, if you haven't seen my past videos about, flight training or how you can save money or how you can speed up the training and things of that nature, I would suggest that you look through some of my videos, and I'm actually going to be linking them above as well and maybe in the description below as well. So feel free to check those videos out after this one. If you're new on my channel, my name is Stephen Ojo, and on this channel we talk about aviation related subjects, mostly flight training, and also just more of the airline pilot life. Now, the reason why this channel is focused on that is because I've been a pilot for over 10 years and I've been an airline pilot for over 5 years. Currently, I fly with a regional in the United States, and I moved here in 2010 from Nigeria. Now, I started my training then and went through the processes and became a CFI, an MEI, and all that stuff, which I'll be going over in this video. I still hold my flight instructor ratings and they are current. However, I do not actively teach people how to fly, and that's because I focus on my airline career for now. I enjoy teaching people, and I just enjoy sharing the information that I've gathered and that I know. Of course, I do not know it all. So make sure you do your own due diligence and try to get more information if you think you're missing something. And of course, feel free to ask your questions. I will try to answer them, just like some people have asked me about this current subject I'm talking about in this video. Now, when it comes to securing funds for flight training, I want you to understand that there's no right or wrong way of doing it. But of course, because flight training is so expensive, you have a lot of expensive options out there. And the goal is, of course, to save and minimize the cost of training. The first thing I would say is, if you do not know the first place to start, I would say you start with the flight school or the university or the accredited institution that you're planning to take your training with. Think about it this way. If you're looking through flight schools online and you just type in flight schools, generally you'll be getting the flight schools in your area, okay? And I'm assuming you're in the United States. If you're outside of the United States, of course, this may change slightly. Now, when you search online for flight schools, make sure that you are looking at accredited flight schools, because trust me, there's so many flight schools that would promise that you get your hours and your ratings within 2 weeks and things of that nature. When in reality, it doesn't work that way. Unless you've had some experience flying, you cannot get your private pilot license in 2 weeks. Don't get me wrong, there are some exceptions. But like I said, they probably have some experience flying other things prior to starting their training. When you get to flight schools, the next thing you want to do is try to contact the admissions officer. And when you contact them, ask them about their student loan programs that they may have, because some flight schools generally will have private lenders that do support students through training. Now, some of these private lenders will generally have a maximum amount that they offer to students during training. So that may not actually cover the full tuition, but at least it gets you started. Now, some private lenders would have a maximum that is set for maybe private pilot training. They will have another set amount for instrument rating. They will have a set amount for CPL, which is commercial pilot license as well. Your goal is to secure those funds and hopefully let it take you through training and complete it. Here's the reality of things. Because it's flight training, you generally cannot finish in the stated amount of time or amount of money. And that's because you generally have weather, maintenance issues, performance issues, and things happen. We are human beings. You won't always perform at your optimum every time. Once you get this admissions officer to give you this private lender's information, then of course you do your research about those lenders to make sure that you're getting the best rate, getting the most amount of money for your for the training you're trying to start. If you are looking into an accredited institution, is like like Embry-Riddle. Of course, these schools have degree programs that they offer, and they are considered accredited universities, and that means that you'll be able to get a lot of funds from the federal government or student loans. In addition, since you're getting your degree program, you can then also get your flight training ratings along the way. A lot of people take this route. But with word of caution, this is also an expensive route as well, because most of these institutions or these universities that offer, or colleges that offer flight training are often very expensive. I mean, sometimes it can be over $200,000 in training and your degree program. Keep that in mind. And a lot of people would generally want to avoid that by just taking private student loans, go to a flight school and spend maybe $60,000, $70,000 on their ratings and then go and spend another 30,000 on their degree program from, just a normal college. Well, I hope you're catching along with this. So the first one is private lenders. The second one is, federal government loans. Now, the third option I'll be sharing in this video is something that is more likely you would take if you have the means to do so, like getting loans from maybe your parents or maybe a family member. Because flight training is so expensive, I hope this person understands that, you may ask for 50,000, but you end up spending 70,000. Things like that happen in training. So you always have to keep this person in the loop as you progress through training, just to make sure that they understand how the funds could change along the way. This is something that, if you don't have a lot of aviators in your family, or if you don't have people in flight training, or maybe pilots in your family, they might find it difficult to understand, because a lot of people just think, oh, it's like college where you pay a set amount and that's it. It doesn't work that way when it comes to flight training. Then your fourth option is, of course, scholarships. You have a lot of programs out there that offer scholarships to students in certain fields. I mean, one of them is from OBAP. There's so many from different organizations out there. Some of them are provided by organizations or even airlines as well. And they sponsor maybe their employees, or they sponsor someone that is already in training that just needs some funds to finish up. The downside to some of this is, of course, some scholarships often have very high barrier of entry, like maybe you have to take a test, or you have to be some exceptional student, and or things of that nature. While some have very low barrier of entry, but the reward is also not great. I mean, maybe it's just $5,000 you get in scholarship, and $5,000 in 50,000 is not much. I mean, it's 10% of the amount, but it doesn't go far when it comes to covering the whole cost of training. Now, this last option that I'm going to share with you doesn't necessarily provide loan services, but they also sponsor people to training. Military. If you are young and you think you want to serve, of course, it's an option for you to do also, because when you go serve, the military will generally sponsor you through training. Of course, you may have to take some tests along the way, or things of that nature, to make sure you're fit and you're qualified to fly. But they are also a cheap way that a lot of people do take the route. But of course, you serve, and that means that you're required to serve for a certain amount of time. So there's this commitment involved. But overall, it's also an option that a lot of people take. And it's a good way to also learn to build and to become a better person, and of course to serve the country. So it's something that you feel like you want to do because you have the time and you want to be part of this, unique set of people, then it's definitely an option for you to explore. But do not turn down any options out there. Talk to people, meet people, attend all these aviation events that are organized in different areas around the country, because you may not know who you'll be talking to that might provide you the necessary resources that you need to move on to, achieving your dreams. Well, I hope that you have found value in this video, and I hope that you have gotten some information and tips from this video. If you have, please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, of course, consider subscribing below, and check out my other videos as well. I'm sure you'll find value in them, and I would love to see you in my next one.